You ever watch one of those presentations from a big consulting firm and just wonder, how do they do that? How do they take these massively complex business ideas and make them seem so simple, so clear, and honestly, so convincing? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's not magic. It's a formula. And in this explainer, we're going to pull back that curtain and deconstruct the exact playbook the pros use.
So, this is really the big question, isn't it? I mean, it's one thing to have a great idea or a ton of data, but it's a whole other ballgame to actually package it in a way that grabs people's attention, makes them trust you, and genuinely persuades them. How do the best of the best pull that off time and time again?
Well, it all comes down to a very specific, very powerful 7-step formula. It's a repeatable blueprint. So let's spend the rest of our time together breaking this thing down piece by piece so we can really get the strategy and, the psychology behind every single move.
Okay, first up, the blueprint revealed. Before we get into the weeds and dissect all the parts, let's just take a quick, high-level look at the entire 7-step roadmap.
And here it is, the whole shebang. It kicks off with the hook, flows right into the introduction, then the core of it, the strategic framework, followed by the case example. You give them some actionable advice, a peek at the future outlook, and you stick the landing with the summary. Now, each one of these is a carefully chosen psychological trigger, so let's dive into how this whole sequence gets started.
All right, section 2, we're calling this the opening gambit. This is all about those first 2 steps, and they are designed to do one thing and one thing only. Grab your audience's attention right away and set the stage for everything that's about to come.
It all starts with the hook. And look, this is way more than just a catchy opening line. The whole strategic point here is to frame a specific business problem that your audience is probably wrestling with right now. Why does that work so well? Because it just cuts through all the noise in their head and instantly creates relevance. It makes them think, okay, wait, this is about me. I need to listen to this.
So, once you've got them hooked, that's when the introduction comes in to act as a kind of bridge. It takes that urgent problem they're now thinking about and starts to introduce the core idea that could solve it. From a psychological standpoint, this is so crucial. It puts the audience at ease, shifting them from a state of, oh man, I have this problem, to, okay, here's a possible way out.
Now for the main event, the core argument. This is really the heart of the presentation. It's where you build all your credibility and you turn these abstract ideas into something tangible, something people can trust, and something that actually persuades them.
And that brings us to the strategic framework. Honestly, this is the secret sauce. It's usually some kind of model or diagram that takes a really messy, complicated issue and just neatly organizes it into a clear, simple structure. The why behind this is all about signaling that you've mastered the topic. By showing you have a system, you're not just telling them you're an expert, you're actually proving it.
And get this, the source material is super explicit about this part. The instructions literally say to show the strategy framework diagram. This tells you something really important. It's not just about what you say, it's about how you show it. That visual itself becomes the proof of your logical, structured thinking.
So the key takeaway here is that the framework's real power isn't just in the information itself, but in the demonstration of a thoughtful process. It's silently telling your audience, look, I haven't just thought about this, I've taken it apart and built a repeatable model to solve it. That, right there, is what builds rock-solid credibility.
But, a theory is just a theory until you prove it works in the real world. And that's exactly why the case example has to come next. It's this 1-2 punch. The framework gives you the what and the how, the abstract model, but the case example gives you the so what, the proof that this model isn't just talk, it actually gets results.
Okay, on to section 4, the actionable payoff. So, we've laid out the problem, we've proven the solution works. This next part is all about delivering real, tangible value and taking the conversation from just interesting to absolutely essential.
Right after proving the model, the formula shifts to actionable advice. And this is so smart because it taps into this basic human idea of reciprocity. By giving away truly valuable next steps for free, you're not just helping the audience, you're building some serious trust. You're turning them from people who are just passively listening into active participants.
From there, the conversation zooms out with the future outlook. This step looks past the immediate advice and starts talking about the big, long-term trends. The reason for this is all about positioning. It shifts your role from someone who just solves today's problems to a real visionary, a strategic guide who can see what's coming around the corner.
And finally, we land the plane with step 7, the summary. Now, this might seem kind of obvious, but its job is absolutely critical.
After you've covered all that ground, the summary uses what psychologists call the recency effect, the simple idea that we remember best what we heard last. It just locks in that core message one last time to make sure the single most important idea sticks. So we've walked through the what and the how. Now for our final section, let's talk about the big why. When you put all these 7 pieces together, what is it that makes this blueprint so unbelievably effective?
Well, it works because every single step has a specific psychological job to do. It's a journey, right? You start by creating urgency with the hook, then you demonstrate expertise with the framework. You prove the value with an example, you empower them with advice. It's a carefully designed path that guides how the audience thinks and feels from start to finish.
So at the end of the day, what we've just taken apart isn't just some outline for a presentation. It's a finely tuned machine for persuasion. It's a system that's literally engineered to build trust through clear thinking, show its value with hard proof, and push an audience toward a new belief for a new action. And that really brings us to the final thought. Now that you have the blueprint, the real question is for you. What's that one complex idea in your world that this formula could help you finally unlock?